My name's Dale from Still Moving Media, and today we're going to do a quick overview of the Manfrotto N12 Nitrotech head. We've used Manfrotto tripods for a number of years, and this particular model is actually a real change in a number of ways. The functionality, it's a little bit more lightweight, which is great because we don't want to carry extra weight if we don't have to. All of the functions are on one side now, so you can actually operate everything with your left hand, while the right hand stays on the handle. They've got a handy little light, which you probably won't be able to see, but we'll do a cutaway. And that's for the little spirit level. And we found that really useful actually when we're doing live streams or events in auditoriums. It can often be quite dark when we're setting up, and just having that there so we can level off everything makes it just that little bit more functional, which is great. One of the big changes that we've seen with this series is the addition of a different kind of quick release. Traditionally, they've all been slide-in, which can be really unwieldy when using a big camera package, and this is pretty small for us. We could have monitors, follow focus, matte box on top of this. It makes it harder to slide in and out. This time, we've got a slightly different setup. Push the lever forwards, and then there's a little button at the back. You just click that into place and continue pushing the lever. The camera releases. And on top, in the cutaway, you see we've got a little brass button just here. And then on this side, got the Manfrotto writing. What we're going to do is line up the numbers on the side of the release plate with the writing on the Manfrotto head just here. It goes in like that. And then we just push down onto the brass button, clicks, and we're locked in. At this point, the camera is not going to come off the tripod, but you can slide it backwards and forwards. And that actually allows you to do a rough balancing of the weight of the tripod front to back, so that if you've, say, got a heavy lens on, you can just slide it back a bit to compensate before you actually get to the piston Nitrotech balancing system. So that's all just about in the perfect position. At that point, you pull back on this lever and you're locked. Once that's all locked, we can just release everything, make sure that we're unlocked on all of those, and the whole thing now is actually loose. So just spin that around. Now, because we've already balanced this, we can actually take this and tilt it forwards, release, we can move it to the side, we can pull it back, and the whole thing will actually stay where you place it. Now, you're probably not going to operate like this because it's a little bit too light. So at that point, you can just add a little bit more resistance on the fluid drag just there, and you'll be able to do really silky tilts. And if you bring in a little bit on the pan axis, really silky pans, just get it to where you like it. And the great thing is you're not fighting gravity. So you can just take it, place it where you want, feather the movement and stop. And I'm just touching this with the lightest touch. And then likewise, if you're tilting up, lightest touch, feather light and stop. And it's not going to be fighting you when you do that. And this works really well. It's really quick to set up. Take a little bit of getting used to, but I'd say 5-10 minutes and you'll be away. Now at the moment, obviously this is all perfectly set up for this camera because we've used it several times, but supposing that I take all of that off, make it really loose, and then change the Nitrotech piston. So give this a bit of a crank, and we'll see that as I release this piston, we'll actually start to lose all of that good balance that we had. And that's going to mean that the camera's going to react very, very differently when I move it around. So I'm just going to make sure that's all turned right down. So as soon as I do that, the camera's just bouncing around everywhere. Go back the other way. It takes a little bit of time because there's quite a lot of movement in this. It's actually good because it means you can do very fine adjustments for your particular camera setup. So if you're using a slightly smaller package, or if you've got a telephoto lens on here, there's plenty of room to accommodate that in the adjustments. Just give that a good crank. Right, and now, if I release it, you see it's just tilting all the way forwards. Take the tripod plate back, and I'm just going to slide it so that in the neutral position, with the tripod flat, the camera's not really moving. I'm going to lock that tripod plate back just by pulling that lever again. And then we can start all of our piston adjustments. So tilting it forwards, see that we're dropping. So I'm just going to start cranking the piston back, and every so often I'm just going to test and see if that's actually stopping or if it's still got a bit of bounce in it. So you just want to place it, release it, and see if there's any drop. And if there is, continue your adjustments. And with a little bit of playing around, you'll find the right position for your system. And this is going to vary from camera to camera. It's going to vary when you put a different lens on. Interestingly, at the moment we're using the Schneider Xenon Cine Primes, and those are pretty much the same weight throughout the set, so if you're switching out lenses, you wouldn't really see much change. So there wouldn't be a need to rebalance in that situation. Whereas if you're using EF lenses, saying you go from a 24 to 70 to a 70-200, you're really going to need to rebalance the whole camera to accommodate that. That's looking reasonably good now. So I can push that knob back in if I want to, and then I can bring in some of the friction. And again, we're back to our perfect poise, where we can just take it, place it, leave it. Might need a little tweak, but I think that that's pretty much perfect. To sum up, the Nitrotech series is a massive step up, and we're really pleased that we're able to put this to work on all of our different shoots. Whether we're on a glacier, whether we're doing a live stream, whether we're doing a corporate talking head, using teleprompters, using telephoto lenses, building up external screens, matte boxes, follow focuses, we're not worried about this being able to handle it, and it's lightweight enough that we just throw it in the case, don't think about it, and it's there if we need it.